Okay.
So, deboning the leg. Again, the only reason why I'm deboning it is because then I can use all of the bones for stock. If you take a look right here, I've got a lot already because that's the entire carcass, the wings, and yeah, the entire carcass and the wings. Now I'm going to add the leg bones to this, and then we'll add water. And after I clean up the board, I'll cut up the mirepoix to put in for stock. So we're probably not going to watch me cut mirepoix. It's really not interesting. So when you go to debone, the main thing is to try to not lose any meat whatsoever. Meanwhile, not cutting yourself, because that would be bad.
Hey, Bubba, don't even think about it.
I mean, wouldn't it be ridiculous? I just fucking broke down 18 turkeys yesterday. Not a fucking scratch. I go and I cut myself today.
Well, you don't have the competition of the cats at work. Just the mouse.
Just all the angry people at work hollering and screaming about how they need things that are not my problem. Why do you have 2 quarts? 200 pounds of turkey. Why do you have 200 pounds of turkey? Alright, he's now preoccupied with netting.
This net obsession.
Now, normally, when doing this, I would run my knife over steel again, because I did
Sharp it.
hit a bunch of bone, you know, taking all the other parts off. But I'm just trying to do this quickly, because I don't feel like washing my knife right this very second. I want to get this, at least one of these done, so that this way we can stop the video, my video feed. Donna can stay on if she wants, and then I can do all that cleaning. If anybody wants like a video on, hey buddy!
Hey, dude!
No.
Get out of there.
If anyone wants a video on, you know, how to sharpen knives properly and stuff like that using whetstone, you can drop a comment in Donna's live feed right there, or if you're watching this on my page,
Hey, Bubba. No, come on.
let me know, and I'll put one of those together for you guys. Buddy! No. I'm the king.
Your leg.
You said I'm the king. Doesn't mean you get to be a pain in the ass, buddy. That's your sister's job.
Can't be a tyrant. Come on.
What's the point of being a king if I can't be a tyrant? Alright, so all of this is the connective tissue in between the turkey foot, which would be over here, and the leg. You know, everything that controls. You know, just like if, let's say you were in a knife fight and you cut someone anywhere at a wrist or an ankle joint, all of this stuff, if you cut it, you've just ended the fight. So, just an FYI out there. Harry for culinary and knife fighting education.
Yeah.
But I don't advocate for violence. If you can avoid getting into a knife fight, I would suggest avoiding it at all costs. It would just be better for everyone.
There are more productive things to do.
So, now we're just trying to clear the bone as much as possible here. so that I have a nice easy time cutting around this knuckle. Well, whatever. We don't need to have an
Bird anatomy.
a bird anatomy class at this point. It's a joint. We want to cut around it because there's a lot of cartilage and there's a lot of sinew. Now, you might be saying to yourself, if you actually know what comfying is and you know how to do it, why are you bothering to take the bones out? You could just comfy it and then pick the turkey right off the bones. You are correct, but I want to use as much of the bone for stock as possible, and I'm making the stock today while I'm making the confit, so I don't want all that bone in there. Now, there'll be little pieces of sinew in here. Those things like this, if I can pull them off, I'd put them in the stock, but I'm not going to go and dig up and grab all of these things, all that go all the way up into the meat up this far. Right there, that's enough out of you. That is this one here. But I'm not going to go and pull everything out because A, I'll lose a lot of meat, and B, when this is confit, all of this stuff gets picked out. And that's going to be a fun, like, hour's worth of picking. If you're into doing like roulades or anything like that, this is basically how I get the skin to do the roulade. Is I will go and I'll cut, debone, and then I'll take this and I'll put it actually on the table and I'll pound it out until it's nice and flat, and then flip it over, fill it with vegetables, ground meat, various kinds of ground meat. It doesn't have to be bird, it doesn't have to be beef, it doesn't have to be pork, it can be all three. It could be anything but fish. Fish just does not work out well with turkey, just saying, or chicken. Season it, roll it, and personally I cryovac I vacuum seal, and then I use a sous vide to cook, or an immersion circulator. But that is leg number one. And how much time are we at now? I'm going to take the breasts out, and I'm going to hold on to this and just drain what we call in the business the sparge liquid out, which is just
It's melted ice.
Melted
junk.
ice, water, blood, and what have you. Alright, so now this is all going to get confit. But first, I need seasoning. So, just so we're all on the same page there, wash your fucking hands. Pretty please, with sugar on top. Wash your damn hands. Make sure you use hotter than that water. There we go, that's better. Make sure you soap up your hands, get them nice and clean. Even if you wear gloves, wash your damn hands. You know, you should be washing your hands anyway, but wash your hands especially when you're handling food. Because, you know, supposedly the people who are eating the food that you're handling are people you care about. So you generally don't want to get them sick either. You don't want to, not a coronavirus thing, a food safety thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, tip from guy who does this for a living: wash your fucking hands. What was it going over here for?
Spices? Oh, paper towel.
So,
Say spices.
I'm never going to get all of that liquid out of there because that's how that works. So we're going to take some paper towel and we're going to throw it in there and let it do some sopping up while I do some chopping up. Alright. See, that I was a poet and didn't even know it. You just weren't up.
I was freaking out, man.
Dude, I'm freaking out, man. You are freaking out, man. Alright. I've got all the herbs and stuff ready. I got the butter over here. It's not really as soft as I'd like, but it's kind of soft enough. It'll work. It'll do. Over on the stove, I have the stock going. That's just all the bones, the wings, mirepoix, which is onions, celery, carrots, in a 2-to-1 ratio. So 2 onions for every 2 pounds of onion for every 1 pound of celery and 1 pound of carrot. I'm going to be using dried herbs on this because, well, fresh herbs are expensive and everybody's really poor right now, so I'm not trying to fuck anybody up. We could have cured this if, let's say I got this like 4 or 5 days ago. I could have had this out, had it broken down, and cured it for 24 hours, but since we're going to be doing a slow cook, it's really not necessary. Besides, I want to try to maintain as much of the flavor I'm putting into it as possible. One thing, if you're using fresh herbs, you're going to have to use a lot more than if you're using dry herbs by weight. I don't really weigh out how I put my herbs in there. I just, you know, go until the ancestors say stop.
And that was thyme?
That was thyme.
Yep.
This is sage. Now this is Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And 2020, so we have to use extra sage. Some rosemary. And a little bit of parsley. Note that my little bit is a little on the subjective side. Now, I don't know how you feel about the nutmeg controversy, but I like to have some flowery aromatics. I am really going to have to like get those things fixed. In my Thanksgiving food. So, I give it a little healthy nutmegging. Before I start mixing all this stuff up, because that's the next step. Because we're savages and we couldn't find enough butter, I had to get sticks instead of a block. But it's all unsalted butter. I do not generally use salted butter at home because I can add my own flavor. I don't need the factory to add it for me. I always suggest using unsalted butter only because of the fact that it gives you ultimate control over the flavor. Now, the reason why I'm cubing the butter is so that when I mix it, it gets underneath, it gets inside, it gets in between, because we need it to be in all the places at all the times. For this to actually confit, it's got to be submerged in the fat, and the fat this time around is butter. I mean, if I have my hands on, like, you know, $100 worth of duck fat, I'd do that, but I don't. So what else is there? What else is on the menu for Thanksgiving? Let me see. Brussels sprouts. The Brussels sprouts will make day of, obviously. I might tomorrow cut them in half and give them a quick steam. But we'll finish the cook off in a saute pan with some vinegar, salt, pepper, you were leaning on it, so I didn't remember. Also, I did not forget to put salt and pepper in there because I didn't mix it up and put it in the oven yet, so we're good. But Donna was kind of leaning on the salt.
It was kind of.
I don't remember.
Propping up. I'm double camming here.
So I completely did not see the salt. Yeah, I know it looks a little heavy, but trust me, it's not. So, now I'm going to get my hands real dirty and move everything around and get all this beautiful flavor all over the place. I mean, it's going to get everywhere anyway because it's on the butter, and the butter is going to be like everywhere. As you can see from the butter just becoming like this green mess of stuff. By the way, the skin doesn't go in the confit, it goes in the person who picks the skin, picks the confit's belly, just so you know. That's how I'm going to bribe Donna into helping me pick. Because I'm going to eat all the skin if she doesn't. Alright, now I'm going to take this, I'm going to put a couple in here, like in.
Roll it.
And roll it right the hell up. To ensure
Butter is evenly distributed.
that we got butter on the inside of this thing, making a complete delicious mess of the insides. We'll do the same thing here. Oh look, I already had one. Roll over, and boom.
Just like that, guys.
Now when all this butter melts, we'll see where it's at. But we're also covering it, so should be okay regardless. But once all the butter melts, hey, look at that. We'll see where it's at and add more butter if needed. I do have a whole other pound of butter on top of this, but I do need some for the chicharron stuffing. Speaking of which, where are they?
Above. Above and beyond.
This is what we're using for stuffing instead of bread because, you know, Don's got celiac, so there's no traditional stuffing. I do also do chicken bread, chicken breader for frying chicken in added chicharrons as well. If you are gluten-free for any reason whatsoever, it is absolutely a treasure of a choice. It's already flavored. It's got so much flavor. Alright, just in case you're wondering what the piece of metal in my oven is, it's for heat retention, to keep it hot when it's hot. And there you go.
Ta-da!
It's going to do its thing for a while.